I'm just going to read it straight out. If an alderman abstains from a vote because of conflict of interest, he or she is not counted as present for quorum purposes, all right? And is not deemed to be voting for purposes of determining whether or not there's been a majority of those voting and present. All right, an alderman must recuse himself from the meeting until the matter is acted upon by the board of aldermen.
But wait, you said recused, you told me that was for judges.
There's a difference. You have to, if you recuse yourself, the actual general term recuse means you leave, okay?
Okay. The
legal term recuse for judges is, I am not going to hear this, so I'm going to step off the bench and I will not be part of that, all right? This rule, and again, this is all up for debate and all up for markup. Okay. This basically just says, look, if you're not going to vote on it, you're going to recuse yourself from the meeting until the matter's been decided upon, and then come back in and do your thing. Ultimately, an abstention will have the same effect as a no vote, so it's not considered a vote, but it's got the same effect as a no vote. And again, an abstention could create a situation where there's no quorum and we won't be able to take any vote, all right? Again, if you guys have any other ideas on that, I'm open to talking about them. Everything else pretty much relates to taking care of the minutes correctly, the way that the sunshine law requires, suspending the rules on a 2/3 vote. You guys can suspend the rules for a very certain matter. It's sort of like an emergency measure. If something happens and we need to do something right now without following the general rules that we normally follow, we take a 2/3 vote of all the voting members, and if we get a 2/3 vote, then we can suspend the rules, but only for that particular matter, nothing else.
That one item.
Pardon me?
That one item, and that's it.
That's correct. All right, and then finally, reference to Robert's Rules of Order. And if there's a conflict on anything in this versus, if somebody, we're not able to come to a consensus on what this meant, and we go to the Robert Rules of Order, and if it's not in violation of state law or our ordinances, then that control. So I look forward to your markups, frankly.
Okay. Now, okay, timeframes on markups. Are we going to be able to have another workshop before the timeframes are up? Or, I mean, because I think I got some ideas, but then some of my ideas don't float real good. I mean, people got more experience, and we talk about, and we don't want to talk about that in the general meeting. So I would like to at least wait to require the markups by the next workshop instead of any of the meetings. Is that all right?
Mark, you
I think you can make your changes that you think need to be addressed, and everybody needs to submit them to Dickie, and then the two of them can go review the markups that everybody wants, and if we come to some kind of conclusion, then so be it. Somebody may have the same, Eric might have the same stuff as Don or Mr. Jeffers, and can go from
So
there.
I got any questions, see
And
Dickie
then,
about the markup?
see whatever changes that you want to have changed or whatever, and then get together, and, even possibly get together a listing of the things that want to be changed by page, and then we can sit there and discuss, and that way we're not waiting till a whole nother workshop. People might have some of the same things that you want. Let's get them listed out to know what it is, and you may be able to go through it a lot faster.
There's a lot in there. I mean, there's a lot in there, and I didn't want to be required, by the next meeting to have it, or the meeting after that to have it. I mean, we talk about something for a long period of time now. I mean, we're clearing up a lot of things and, making it easier and more understandable, but if we rush it through, then I don't think we've got a chance to look at it.
I think everybody needs to get their changes looked through. If you don't have enough time by the next meeting, we're not going to put it on an agenda item. I mean, it's still going to be something that's discussed. It might not go on until the second meeting. And at the second meeting, it's not going to come up as an actual ordinance change, but it could be presented as a list of changes to the draft, and then we can go a little further into it. I would suggest everybody needs to go through it, make your changes, and see Dickie.
Well, I agree, but at the same time is, if Dickie's gonna take all the changes and everything else, I think they ought to be back to us so we discuss all of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but as Mr. Jeffers says, I think we ought to do that in the next.
Well, what I would recommend is, I need all of these by the Monday of the week prior to the next workshop. I need a week.
Okay, next
If I don't
Monday.
have them by that Monday, I'm moving forward, and you're left out.
Okay.
Simple as that. I'm not asking you for it.
3 weeks.
We're moving on.
Sound like a plan.
Hey, why'd you look right again for?
Well, that's just because you two were over there.
Two stooges.
Okay, I understand.
All right. Next. Parking on election day, Mr. Walter.
Well, you know, I realize that we only have one more election, hopefully at City Hall, and then it will be somewhere else. But however, this last election, you know, people parked right out front of City Hall all day long. And I believe that all the spaces out there should be for voters, not for campaigning.
I agree. I think the
So,
sidewalk needs to be off of it too.
I think that we need to have an ordinance or need to pass a resolution, something to curb that, maybe next, or at our next meeting, so it can be enforced on election day.
I would,
This would be April 2nd,
August
August 2nd.
Yeah.
I would, it was very close to what happened, okay? To me, and I was parked out there. I was asked to move. I was moved. I moved, because I thought, you know, okay, that makes sense. But the rest of the day, you know how many people parked in those 4 spots across the street? One. I was out there all the time. They couldn't park there because the campaigners were out in the parking lot. I mean, they had the chairs right next to it, no one would pull up there. The only one that pulled up there was someone to talk to the other campaigners. So if you're going to, you know, I would say if you're going to limit those spots, you're going to have to say that the campaigners can't be in those spots, keeping them.
I think that's
from-
what we're addressing now. That's
Okay, I mean, campaigners and everything, not just cars in those spots.
Yeah, and we
Okay.
asked them.
I believe that the whole front of City Hall should be left open.
Agreed.
I mean, you know, if you want to, like myself, set up a tent or whatever, it should be in parking places. And I don't believe that campaigners should be parked out right in front of City Hall. I just don't. So I believe that, you know, City Hall is open also, so that's a problem too. So I mean, I believe that everything needs to be left open for parking for regular business as well as voters. So I believe that the whole front parking lot should be restricted as parking only.
Sidewalks too.
Yeah.
So,
You got another problem with it too. I mean, if you try to, the parking, I think we've got a legitimate right, and what you're saying is right, okay? The other thing that came up was campaigning, okay? That isn't something that the city can legislate.
yes,
Actually,
they can.
We can say no.
Because the
at all.
Knights of Columbus Hall down in Festus does not allow campaigning on their property. And that, if you go call Wes Wagner, he will tell you.
He sent us one, he sent us something.
That's right.
Letter last
Okay, I talked to Wes Wagner that day when I was asked to move, and I was asked to move from the sidewalk.
That
And he said that I couldn't be asked to do that because I had a legitimate right to go.
We had the
do it.
ordinance.
Because we chose not to sign his letter that he had sent out to us earlier. So we have that choice, and yes, we can stop that. We can say we want no electioneering on our property whatsoever.
Or some signs.
No signs, no electioneering, no.
Okay, then you're going against state law that says
No, we're not.
15 feet, anything beyond 15 feet is legal. That, I mean, I've worked with other ones.
Per the state. However, if we want to mandate that no one's allowed to electioneer on our property, we can put that. We cannot be less restrictive, but we can be more
There's
restrictive.
16 places right now that
I have no place that I've worked or voted that's ever had anything
There's
more than
16 of them.
15 feet.
There's 16 of them right now that do not allow electioneering or signs.
And every year they're asked that question, so every year you heated the races get, the
Yeah.
more you can see places say no.
So when this is moved from here to the next place, they are not gonna allow any electioneering or signing on the property. It's already been said that they're not gonna do that. And it is
A lot
not.
of the churches and
I think
schools
I,
will be
you know, it's beginning to be, you know, I think you're stepping on voting rights.
No, it's-
I
No, the
really
voters
think
still have the
that's-
right to go vote, what they have the right to do is not have to be bombarded
No.
by it.
Is when, by the time you get to City Hall, you pretty much make your mind up. And I get out of my car, and I have another 10 feet to go before I get that 15 feet. I don't wish to be badgered.
I feel the same
So
way.
what you're doing is you're soliciting me. And at times
Right.
I don't want to be solicited. But
That's
you're
right.
saying that's okay to come and badger me at that time?
I'm saying that the laws have been, you know, you gotta look at it from the campaigners. You look at it from yours and you're right. The campaigners looking at it, here's my last chance to get there. You know, I don't wanna offend you because then you won't vote for me. But if I can convince you within that last, 20 feet, I should have that right to try.
It's 25 feet, Mr. Jefferson, because there was a line out when they came out and sprayed it. It's 25 feet, just inch feet away to all of you.
Okay. I mean, the line was drawn there.
Yeah.
And I was behind it and they came out and said I couldn't be there because I was blocking something else.
It's kind of fading and everything else too.
Yeah.
In the past, we have been asked to move off the sidewalk because people move down the sidewalk, they couldn't get by. Yes, we have been asked to move
Well,
off.
we got several complaints last year, that's why we requested that everybody
Right.
get off the sidewalk.
I would just put no campaigning at all here on city property then.
Fine? Okay.
Church meeting.
I'd rather spend my day doing something else than that.
If you're gonna do it, you should ask the ordinance Monday night and get it out to everybody so they.
As long as it's done in advance. Everyone knows it's in advance. You know, no campaigning, everything is the same for everybody.
Don't worry about it, Sam, as long as they do the same stuff. But
Well, see, this way they don't go down, so you have to worry about the other.
I'd say nothing on city property.
We can't have safe on hours of signs.
Has there been any lawsuits against people that have tried that?
I'm sorry.
Have there been any lawsuits
First
against
Amendment lawsuits requesting that there are asserting that the First Amendment right of free speech is being infringed by having them not be able to put the signs up. The courts, and I can't give you an absolute answer on this right now, but.
There's some contention, that's all I want. There is
Yeah,
some
there has
contention
been
about it.
contention that the.
So it's not absolute what you're
To
told.
the signs.
Yeah, to
Saying
the
to
signs.
signs, not
But
to people.
isn't it, if Scar Power used Casey on it and said, that's private property, we're not private property. We're governmental property, so maybe just no electioneering, but signs, yes.
I don't have a problem with signs.
I'm fine with signs.
Signs is okay.
That's what our problem might be, Sean. That would be fine with me.
Okay.
No electioneering.
Well,
but
I mean,
signs.
I'll determine what the parameters of what we can do legally is, and put together an ordinance that takes us to that point, if that's what you want. If you want no signs and no electioneering, it's permissible under the law, you can have that ordinance. If you want signs but no electioneering, that's fine, I can write it just like that too. But like I said, I mean, if the idea is that we're gonna give people a chance to actually walk up, post their vote, and walk out without getting hassled, might as well take it to the outside.
We need some.
No, I need some.
Sean, I think you sent me a court case a few months back that dealt with signs.
Good.
And the court case basically said, we can do this, but we have to do it for fall signs. We can't pick political signs. So it can't be the house for sale sign, it can't
We
be
had that
Joe
discussion back when
Blows,
we did those signs, and that was
Crack
like,
Shack or whatever it is. It has to be
But
all
here,
signs,
here.
not specific to the wording on the sign. And it's legal then. The court's ruled that's legal.
So you
this
said.
is what he's discussing the whole court when we went through all that stuff with you, whether or not they could have certain signs or not signs. We dealt with that it's been, several years ago that was actually addressed even at the city level as far as the signs.
Well, I say let's don't mess with the signs because, people put house signs on city property and who's going out there and start measuring? Is Dickie going to be the sign policeman now?
No, I'm not talking about the size, I was just talking about the
I'm not talking about
concept.
size, I'm talking about location because a lot of times they'll put it right by the street, house for sale, where people can see them because they have bushes, iris would say just put no electioneering, a lot easier, a lot less hassle for everybody. That's my opinion, I don't know what the rest of you think.
Alright, we're all kind of in agreement with that. Alright, next one. Board of Aldermen wanted to say bonfire / social. Bonfire is good. But I would like to see, yeah, just the bonfire. But I looked at, I've talked with several members around about, you know, and with Mr. Ryan was talking to him about doing the one-day thing, and I would really like to look at doing something for one evening, one day, one evening for the residents. But I don't want it to be on the back of the city. I would really prefer us as the board, the elected officials, to go out and see what we could get people to support the city with, sponsor, donate, whatever the case may be, and just make it one day and evening for the residents. Come down, socialize, you know, we had that ice cream social how many years ago, you know, things of that nature. We just haven't got back out to meet
How
the
about
residents.
hot dogs or something?
You know, and I did talk to the person at, Pizza, and he was even saying, send them, you know, a letter and then send it to the main office, and they have their vendors will come out and do, you know, the pizza stand like they do at the fall festival, things like that, like Domino's also did.
Right.
So, you know, if we could get some of the people within town and some of the business owners to maybe sponsor some things.
Or outside town.
You know, huh?
Or outside of town.
Or outside of town, yes, you know, anybody that would like to donate or sponsor something for the city, and I don't mean like go out and walk in the food vendors, not making it a big old fall festival, but something simple for everybody to come down and just enjoy the day, the evening, and then maybe finish it off the bonfire at the end of the night. Any ideas?
Where are you looking to do this?
What's the time frame that you're looking at?
September, October, you know, Mr. Ryan had said, you know, end of September, beginning of October, somewhere around
I
there.
think a hot dog roast in October. It's not
We did the bonfire in
It's got
October.
cold out there.
Turned out well.
Lots of chili, chili for
Yeah, we did a
Chili
chili
good,
cook-off.
not too bad.
We did that for the bonfire. I mean, anything that we can come up with, if we can, you know, set a date and then start making some arrangements, I think that would be great. Just get some more community involvement.
Are we doing something free for this year?
And, you know, it's like pizza comes down, of course, they're gonna charge for prices of pizza, but that's per vendor, per whoever.
No, I was thinking for something like, I know First State Community Bank, for their, the bank fest that has Twin City Days, they put on, I think, free hot dogs for whoever will come in. I mean, I would like to see something free, not bring vendors in who are
I'm
charging.
fine with whatever, that's what I'm saying, whatever we wanna do, I wanna make it something enjoyable for the residents, so that they can come, bring their kids in, and spend, not have to worry about $30 armbands for rides and all that kind of stuff,
You
just
get
something
hot dogs,
simple.
and little bags of chips, and I think you would get people, these businesses in town donate money,
Sure.
tell me what to do, and
We don't want any money,
we could,
Yeah, pay to keep track.
yeah,
Yeah.
donate items and things, that's social.
The scouts, they always sell soda, so I imagine they would like to possibly come down and sell soda.
Well, like you're saying, that if the most that we can do for free for the vendors, and then if, you know what, there's food and whatever left over, then we can always donate it to the pantries. So, that's just kind of an idea that I wanted to throw out there for something, it would be good to be put on by us, though. I don't wanna have to depend on the park board or another board to do it, I would like to depend on us to do something for our community.
But then I think we need to have a date kind of penciled in.
And we can get with Marilyn for sure, and point a date, maybe we can think of 3 dates, and we can get it down to one that works.
Well, because you can have them do something.
He's a lousy cook.
So if that sounds like a good idea, then I would like to have it on the agenda for the next.
Pretty hard to do on schedule.
Sounds like somebody everybody's interested in. All right, good deal.
sounds good.
All right, last one, multifamily, construction review, Alderman Piper.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if we can do a review or maybe get an ordinance going. I think Peebly has just gotten too many multifamily places. You know, we've got way too many Section 8 housing, because I'm not against Section 8, but it seems like everything we get is on Section 8. All our multifamily units, we get a lot of transients. I think we're trying to get ourselves focused towards a better city. We're not getting much as far as tax dollars out of these people, I don't think. I think we need to, kind of like we did with the trailer parks, we need to take a good review of it and see what we got going. And curb a lot of it. I've got a lot of people that come to me are upset about it. You know, people put in a unit, promise one thing, and 6 months later it's totally different.
That's a easy point. It's supposed to be that way. And I talked, Terry, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Terry Rush was telling me that the company in California came down to buy somewhere on Missouri Avenue, I don't know what it's called, there's two different complexes. They were gonna buy one, but they want not-for-profit status, is what they do. They don't pay taxes in it. And anybody can make their taxes look like they don't make anything. And what they do is, so you and I, we open one up, it's not for profit. Well, we pay ourselves $200,000 a year each, but it looks like they're not making any money on it. And that's one thing, you know.
Hence merge goodwill.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I understand what you're saying.
That's what I'm asking for, is
Yeah.
we could all look at that and see what we're doing in the city to try.
I think somebody said something about the Teamster camp. Somebody was interested in putting one there for senior, assisted living houses.
That's gonna be a senior center.
But again, there is no, if they go tech, I would not vote for anybody with tech exempt. I mean, not tech exempt.
Well, they're not in City Limits anyway, so what are they gonna do?
No, but they want more, it would be.
Yeah, if they want
Not
to
for
hook up to
profit,
our
not
water
tax-
and sewer,
Not tax exempt,
they're
it's
going to
not
be-
for profit. That means they pay no federal or state or taxes like that. And somebody else said something about Allerman and Pollen, they were looking at property out there.
Well, that's what I'm asking, can we get something going on left with us? We can restrict a lot of these actions we have going, or completely stop them. I mean, we need to get a good look on what our city wants to be like in 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
You know,
I understand.
We've tried to get something set up like that, Eric, where, okay, give us a 2, 3, 5-year, 10-year plan, and that's what we want to do.
Last one, 1998 or
It's kind of like the Russian plants.
That might have been later, that might have been in the 2000s.
Somebody don't do with the last one.
Yeah, I think so.
At one time, we had a big meeting, we wanted citizens to come and tell us what they wanted people to look like and everything else. I know Arnold has a big unit like that.
Comprehensive plan.
comprehensive plan.
They get a big function like that, they have maybe 300, 400 people, and then you got facilitators that facilitate the meetings and everything else of each table, they come together, and they've got all the information, everything else, what they will look like. I agree that at the top of us, there might be something planning and zoning.
If we could get that on one of the agendas to review those ordinances.
Comprehensive plan.
well, I mean, it's just an issue. I've had people come to me and, your homes are your retirement for a lot of these people, you know, you reverse mortgage them, you sell them when you get to a certain age and stuff. You just keep popping these up around these people, who's been here for years, they finally get to the point they can pay them off. And you just wiped out the value of their homes, just because you've been throwing things up around them. And that's what I want to be able to look at, is what can we do about that?
Well, we need, number one, to clean our borders up, city limits up, and then take comprehensive plan, what do we want to go, those areas, new areas coming in? You know, want housing or whatever.
Our borders seem to be okay, I mean,
You go look at the map.
Yeah, we have, it's like a finger, you know.
no, I understand. Even if your border line is jacked up, it's what's going on inside your town. I mean, the heart of the people, it looks like crap to me. That's my personal opinion. It doesn't look like anything I would want to move into, and I didn't. I moved on the other side of the island. And I don't want that. If I'm gonna be here to help this city out, and I guess that's what my job is supposed to be, is to help this city to grow and look better. And I think we need to pay attention to all the neighborhoods, even though, you know, if it's a neighborhood, it's not in my ward. And I've done that a few times. I come over and go, hey, look, this isn't doing very well. You know, I don't know if cleaning up our borders is it. I think it's the internals, what's already in our borders we need to try to straighten out.
It's like street programs, sidewalk programs, dress the city up. I think along that line helps out too.
No, I think you're getting off my thing. I have a big problem with family units. losing tax dollars there, in my opinion. You get several people into one thing, and it's only getting taxed once. You're bringing a lot of transients in here, people that move in and out. Some of these places have gone Section 8, and those people aren't bringing in much money, in my opinion. I mean, if you go for a job, you get up every day, you stop at the gas station, you spend money there, you buy gas, you know. If you didn't take the city home, you're probably not gonna be doing those things that bring in tax dollars.
They're buying new TVs, they're buying.
With your tax dollars.
At Walmart, asbestos.
Yeah.
Highway Z is a big, big thing. We need to
And that's
make sure that happens.
That's next year. And I agree, that's what I say, planning is only gonna take, we gotta take a look at that. And you know, same thing is trying to set up other committees where they can do things.
I mean, it'd be disheartening if the golf course went to a, you know, a great big nice apartment complex, and then, you know, a year and a half into it, it goes Section 8. That would really.
Somebody comes in and buys them out like they are down about this.
And that would really be kind of crappy for you, you know, because now you have to drive through that.
Or Bushburg.
You know, or the Bushburg or Vineyard, anybody up there.
But I've talked to them because we do golf tournaments up there. I talked to sort of Webby, all of them up that way and everything else. They said that's not gonna happen. If anything happens, it's gonna happen years from now because they're in the process of making that profitable for the new owners and everything else too. They wanna make more overnight parking and everything else for the RVs and everything else. They've only got 13 spots. They wanna move that on up to 30 to 50, and because they only get $10 a night when people stay there. They want to reopen the swimming pool, that's gonna be open to the public, everything else. The golf thing, Teamsters, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, and the golf is open to the public now. They don't charge much of the golf area too, so are they gonna do that? There's 11 acres out front that they wanna do some things, so they got some.
I'm not saying they're going to, I was just using.
Right. But, I understand what you're saying, it just.
I kind of agree with Pepper, that, you know, you do at least start something, you can't throw the whole house at one time, but at least you can put the foundation down and start going from there and build on that foundation instead of waiting to get that grand hotel.
Well, that's what we talked about, the mobile homes and everything else too. There's a lot of things. But as we got committees and everything else, trying to get people to show up at them.
But yeah, I think that's right. Put that on the agenda for one of our planning zonings, along with whatever, if we have to do stuff in there, and we can review it and we can make
So,
changes to it.
let's say the next planning and zoning meeting, which would be August the
Third
third.
or second on Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's
Second.
But that's election night,
Election
so
night.
it'll have to be some other
You
night.
gotta move it.
We'll make sure that he understands that, so that you're not in here.
Yeah.
What time's poll close, 7?
Yeah. And they don't, and
They don't bring up,
they don't get out of here at 7.
that's true. Yeah, we don't want to make that like night.
And that's probably gonna be a pretty big election, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's plan to put that on the agenda, but definitely get rid of all the fires. So, anything else, gentlemen? If not, have a good evening.
Election, people call this one. Equipment and Sunday. I called up.
Any help?
Hey,